Welcome to episode 2. I have so much to be grateful for. So, why am I not happier? So, here's the thought that I believe a lot of successful people have is very few of us actually say this out loud is I have so much to be grateful for. So, why am I not happier? Hmm. Maybe you have a good career, a family that loves you. Maybe you have financial stability. Like, what does that look like for you? You can be deeply grateful for your life and still know that something inside you is asking for more. Gratitude and fulfillment are not the same thing. So, wanting more doesn't mean that you don't appreciate what you have. It may mean that you've outgrown the version of your life that maybe once fit you. You can have everything. You can have, like I said, you can have the best career, a family that loves you, you can have financial stability. You have, gosh, so many people love you and support you, and then all of a sudden, it could just click one day and say, you know what? I'm not feeling this anymore. And then what do? You start to second guess yourself. I shouldn't feel this way. Like, why? I should be ashamed of myself of feeling this way. Or maybe sometimes you don't even know, like, you don't even know why you're feeling this way. And maybe someone else looks at you and says, wow, you have such an amazing life. How could you complain about your life, even though you say you're grateful for, but you're complaining about it because you're not fulfilled. The glass is not filled or maybe overflowing. And then you, like I say, you start to say, I shouldn't feel this way. I should be happy. I should appreciate what I have. There are people who would give everything for your life, and then comes the guilt that we feel. So you push the feeling down, you get busy, you focus on everyone else, you put yourself on the back burner, and then you remind yourself everything is good. It's okay. Like, why am I feeling this way? But eventually that feeling keeps coming back up to the surface. And today I want to tell you something that I wish more people understood, that you can be grateful for your life and still want your life to feel different. And those are two things that can exist at the same time, because gratitude and alignment are not the same thing. Gratitude versus alignment. What is that? So, gratitude is recognizing what is good in your life. Alignment is asking whether the life that you're living still reflects who you are becoming. And that distraction matters. So you can love your husband, you know that you had that great connection, but you can love your children and still want something that belongs only to who? You, right? So you can be grateful for a career and realize that you no longer want to spend the next 10 years doing what you have been doing for the last 20 or 30 years. And then you can appreciate everything that you've built and still feel pulled towards something more. And when we feel that we're being pulled for something more, we feel guilty. Oh my gosh, why am I complaining? I'm making $350,000 a year. I have all of this. I have a beautiful home, beautiful house, or a beautiful marriage. I have great relationship. I'm driving all the fancy cars. Like, you have everything that you want. And then, so you feel like you want to go a little further, and then you feel guilty and saying, why am I even want to go further? It is okay. That does not make you ungrateful. It makes you aware. And sometimes awareness is uncomfortable because we are coming out of our comfort zone. Because once you recognize that something no longer fits, it becomes harder to pretend that it does. So you might look at that the life that you prayed for may be the life that you need forever. And I want you to really hear this, that you allowed to outgrow something you once prayed for or wished for or manifest for. The career that you wanted maybe 30 years ago may not be the career that you want at age 50, right? The definition of success that motivated you 10 years ago may not motivate you today. And is that okay? It sure is. We change. We're constantly learning. We're constantly evolving. We're constantly meeting people coming in and out of our lives. The person who worked so hard to prove yourself may now want peace and maybe more recognition. The person who spent years building security for your home and your family maybe is craving freedom. What does freedom look like for you? The person that always took care of everyone else is finally asking, is like, this is what my whole episode is about. What do you want? And it's the simplest questions is what do I want? And we get stuck, dumbfounded of like, I don't know what I want, but you do know what you want. And that incredible question can feel completely uncomfortable, especially for people who have spent most of their lives being responsible, being the dependable, being the strong one, being the leader, being the person that everyone else counts on. But we become so good at fulfilling our roles that sometimes we forget to check whether those roles still fulfill us. And one day you will look around at your life that you've built, and then realize nothing is necessarily wrong, but something is missing. And that is a very different problem. Because when someone is obviously broken, we know what to fix. When something's broken, we know what to fix. But what do you do when your life is good and you still feel completely empty? So I want you to stop asking, what is wrong with me? This is where I think many women and men turn against themselves. Why can't I just be happy? Why am I never not satisfied? Why do I always need another goal? Why can't I just enjoy what I have today? But maybe those aren't the right questions. Maybe the question isn't what's wrong with me. Maybe the question is, what is this feeling trying to tell me? That's the question you need to ask. It's not what's wrong with you. Is what is the feeling trying to tell you? That changes completely everything when you ask this question. Because now you're not judging the feeling, you're listening to it. And maybe you're not unhappy with your life. Maybe you're disconnected from who? Yourself. That does exist. So maybe you have to spend so many years becoming who everyone needed you to be that you haven't stopped to ask who you need to be and who do you need to be right now. That is where alignment comes in. This is your alignment check. I want to give you 3 questions. I don't want you to rush through. I want you to really just take your time. Don't answer them based on what sounds good. I want you to answer them honestly. Okay? Here we go. The question 1 is, What part of my life looks good from the outside, but no longer feels good in the inside? That could be your career, could be your daily schedule, could be your relationships, could be your businesses, could be your responsibilities, even in a space at which you're living right now. Where are you saying everything is fine, but deep down, you know it's not working for you anymore. It's just not. Don't feel guilty about that. And then question 2 is, what am I continuing to do because it is expected of me, not because it is aligned with me? That's a difference, because this one's a very uncomfortable one. Because successful people become very good at meeting expectations. Your company's expectations, your family's expectations, maybe it's your clients, your friends, society, all these expectations. And eventually, even the expectations of the person we used to be. But just because you're always done something, that doesn't mean you have to keep going, right? Just because you've always done something, always has something going, doesn't mean that you have to keep doing it. And number 3 is, if I knew I wasn't being ungrateful, what would I admit right now? What do I admit that I want right now? If you weren't being ungrateful, not what you should want, not what would make sense, not what everyone else thinks what's next for you. It's like, what do you want? Do you want more freedom? Do you want maybe more meaning? You want more alignment? Do you want more adventure? Do you want to travel? Do you want to just come out of your comfort zone? Do you want maybe more intimacy? Maybe the intimacy just fell off the face of the earth from being with someone for such a long time because you got so uncomfortable and it just started to dissipate. But why? Do you want more impact? Do you want more time? Do you want a different career? Do you want to start your own business? Do you want a slower life? Do you want to just shrink down to, maybe you have all these materialistic things and you say, you know what, I don't need this anymore. I don't need those fancy cars. I don't need the boats. I don't need, all this money in my account. I just want to live simple. I want a bigger life for me, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And that is okay. Start by giving yourself permission to ask. You don't need to blow up and reinvent your life. And what you need to be really clear. And I want to be clear about something for you, is alignment doesn't mean that you need to quit your job tomorrow. It doesn't mean you need to leave your marriage if you're unhappy. Sell your house, move across the country, move out of state, or completely reinvent your life. Because sometimes alignment begins with the one honest decision. It's the boundary. It's the one conversation, the 1 hour a week that belongs to you, the one thing that finally just you stop doing, the dream that you finally started taking seriously. And that decision says what? The person I want to become gets the voice in my life that I am creating now. I'm going to make this change. And that's where change begins. Not always with a dramatic leap. Start small. Just something with just a quiet truth in your heart. So I want to talk a little bit about the gratitude like the gratitude trap in our lives. I think one of the greatest traps successful people fall into is using gratitude to silence themselves. I shouldn't want more. I already have enough. Other people have it worse. And yes, gratitude is powerful. I practice gratitude. I believe gratitude. I live it. I breathe it. I wake up with it. I wake up in the morning, put my feet on the floor, and thank God for another day. And I list a million things that I'm grateful for. But gratitude was never meant to become this like cage. You don't honor your blessings by refusing to grow. You don't prove that you're grateful by ignoring your own desires that you've been wanting. And you don't have to make your current life wrong in order to want something different. That's a difference there. You can say that I love what I built. I am so proud of the woman or man who I built myself, right? When I say build yourself, obviously your parents are helping you build the person you are today. But as we grow, we become our own. We make our own decisions. Make our own beliefs. Maybe I'm grateful for everything that this chapter has given me, and I am ready to ask what I want in my next chapter. And what does that look like for you? That is not ingratitude, right? Doesn't mean that you're not grateful. That is growth. Your life can be good and still be asking you to grow. We're growing every single day. So maybe nothing is wrong in your life. Maybe feeling isn't telling you that you need to destroy what you've built. Maybe it's inviting you to become more intentional about what you've built. Because happiness isn't always about having more. Sometimes it's about feeling connected in your life that you already have. Connected to yourself, connected to your values, your relationships, your purpose, your why. Connected of the person that you're becoming, the best version of yourself. And maybe that's why the gratitude isn't enough for you, because you don't need another reason to appreciate your life. You need permission to participate in creating what's next, right? We have chapters of our lives. You get to choose to either be stuck in that chapter or keep growing and moving. And that is the beauty of the power shift. So here's what I want you to do this week. Take 10 quiet minutes. No phone, no distractions, no one's opinion. How about your own noise in your head? And I want you to write this sentence at the top of a notepad, whatever piece of paper that you have. And I want you to write this. I am deeply grateful for. What are you grateful for? I want you to write it. I don't want you to type it. I want you to get a blue ink. Blue ink does, it helps with your subconscious mind that when you're writing in blue ink, it registers, it brings light, abundance. So, what am I deeply grateful for? Then underneath that, I want you to write, and I'm ready for more. So I'm deeply grateful for, and underneath that, I'm ready for more. Don't judge your answer. Don't immediately figure out how you're going to make this happen. Don't figure out the end result, how you're going to get there. Just tell yourself the truth. That is the first step. Because sometimes the first step toward becoming the next version of yourself isn't changing your entire life. It's finally admitting what you want from your life. And if you're listening today and thinking, I love my life, Nancy, but I know something inside me is changing, I want you to pay attention to that. You are not required to stay the same simple person because the life that you created is good. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to want something different. You are allowed to redefine success, reopen a new chapter of your life. Something changed. But if you want something changed, don't, disregard the people around you. You can't just say, you know what, I've been married to this person for 35 years and I want to change. Goodbye, I'm divorcing you. That's not what I'm talking about. But you have the ability to change whatever it is that you want. Start small. Something that's going to help you evolve into that next chapter. You can be grateful for the life you have while creating a life that feels even more like you. So don't let gratitude become the reason you stop listening to yourself. Be grateful, be present, love what you've built, and still have courage to ask, what is calling me now? What do I want now? Because that question may be the beginning of your next chapter. Until next time, always remember that you have full control of the will. With much love and hugs, Nancy.